You guys are going to love today's show. It's a bit of a milestone for us here on Fullerton Unfiltered, and Brian has a special guest. Before we kick into gear, though, quick reminder, GIE Plus Expo, it's coming soon, October the 20th through the 22nd. Save 50% off your registration using the promo code Brian, and there's a link below.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no-nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It's your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging out with you guys. And today, we have a 200th show special here for you guys. Get ready. I am joined in studio with none other than my younger brother. Hi, Adam Fullerton.
How's it going?
Welcome to the jungle. We were just getting this podcast started, and you were complaining about how tight the space is in here. You're making fun of my studio already.
Yeah, it's pretty small.
Yeah, well, I'm working on that house. One day I'm gonna have a house.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
don't tell my wife about this.
We both live in apartments right now. So hey, a lot of you guys have met Adam, unfortunately, at Entrepreneur Academy Live, and he's my younger brother. How old are you right now on planet Earth?
32. Thank you.
You're 32.
32. How old are you? Are you 40 yet?
I'm 34.
34. You look 40. So I'm not sure if that's good or bad.
Why? Because I look wealthy?
No.
Old and wealthy?
I mean, you look pregnant and you look like you're ready to retire already.
All right, so I saved the 200th episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast for this clown show. So I have a younger brother named Adam Fullerton. A lot of you guys met him at Entrepreneur Academy Live. And so a lot of you guys have actually heard me tell a story. Do you listen to my podcast?
Your version of the story.
Oh.
There's always the three sides to every story. Yours, mine, and the truth. So we're gonna cover the truth today.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna skip all the. It's kind of unfair because you've probably mentioned the story and given people an idea in their minds as to what happened. And
yeah,
so
you're
now
coming back. -5.
Yeah, exactly. Which is completely unfair.
Everybody doesn't like you. Everybody thinks you're lazy. Everybody thinks you're... No, I was kidding.
All right, we're going to expose the truth real quick. I think all those are true. But
listen, don't ruin my credibility here, okay? We have a successful thing going on here, okay? We're top.
I know how it's successful. when you don't pay people, you can get pretty successful pretty quick.
Yeah, well, okay. So we're going to get to the bottom of Adam, my younger brother, working for me, and the story that I've told. So if you guys are new to the show, not every show is going to be like this. Some of them are actually good. This one's going to be a little bit more of a truth or dare. Listen, when I got started in lawn care back in 2005, how old were you back then? I think you were 18.
That's probably 6 or 7.
You were 18. I was 20.
There's no way I was 18.
You said college.
What year?
2005.
2005. I graduated 2006. Okay, so 17.
17 going on 18.
I wasn't legal yet. Let's just keep that in mind.
So you were 17 going on 18. And to take it all the way back, a lot of you guys watch the YouTube videos today. They think we're successful, whatever. Okay, I'm trying to make it figure it all out just like a lot of you guys. But there was a time back in the day that I employed my younger brother. I lived in my mom's mobile home park way before I met Liz. Adam was 17 going on 12. And so back in the day, he used to work for me. And this is a real story. Like, first off, a little bit of context here. There's people out there that don't even think like I had a real lawn care business. I like, there's people that...
No, it was real. I mean, it was real. You'll get to this, I'm sure, but I did help. I did work for you. I think longer than 30 days. So yeah, it was a real sham operation, but it was an operation nonetheless. So,
but it was a real operation.
It was a real operation.
Things might not have been on the level. I didn't know what I was doing. I got fired from Little Caesars. I got kind of let go from True Green. They didn't really fire me from True Green. They just said, like, you don't really work here anymore. And I said,
That's a nice way of putting it.
I said, well, I don't want to work here anymore. So I don't work there anymore. And but back in 2005, I said, I'm going to start cutting grass. Okay. Like, I did it when I was a kid. Is this a true verified story? When I was like 10, 12, you were like 7 years old. Do you have a memory that far back?
Probably not. But
probably not. But I did. I
remember you doing something.
I was cutting the neighbors' lawns, right? I was 10, 12, a little push mower.
Yep.
This is verified.
Yep.
You're my fact checker today.
Yep.
Okay. You're like the first ever conservative fact checker, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we mowed grass, and then I was 20 years old. I got my little illustrious star. I was using your Dodge Durango.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember you put it in the back of the Durango. right?
What's that? My mowers?
Yeah.
Maybe a push mower or two.
You tried something before. You tried using my truck before at one point for something.
Well,
like
I had
that.
the little trailer, my little 5x8 little utility trailer that I got at Tractor Supply. So I was using a Dodge Durango. You were up at college. Where'd you go to college?
I don't think it's relevant. I don't even care about that place anymore.
Well, no, tell them your story. Give us some context.
My story.
Give them a 2-minute update, like who you are, what's your story right now, what are you doing, what do you do for a living?
Okay, so well then I went to Michigan State University.
You have a podcast, so do a good job here.
Yeah, I went to Michigan State University for 4 years. I graduated there out of the business school with a marketing degree. After that, I went and worked at Carhartt over in Dearborn, Michigan for 6 years. Left there and joined another company, which I currently work at. I'm doing digital advertising there. Within that, I've kind of looked at.
You gotta slow down. Some of these people like work in the South.
All right,
we have a worldwide audience. You'll understand when you'll get there.
I'm only at episode 50, so once I get to 200, I'll understand.
Not how many downloads you have. How many episodes are you at?
50, well, I guess this is probably the same number. So
all
anyway,
right, you got this, bud.
So
you gotta slow down though.
I do digital marketing, and then
what is that? What is digital marketing?
It's helping. Well, for me right now, it's basically helping the business I work at just kind of grow from a digital perspective through email, through the website, through social, kind of various different fields, so to speak.
So let's not say the name of the company, but let's just say, generally speaking, you sell RVs. Would that work?
They do. Yeah. I guess they do.
We're not going to give them the name of the company you work for, but you generally sell RVs.
The company does, not myself.
So what do you do there? What would you say you do here then? If you don't sell them, what the hell are you doing?
Right now I run the entire email marketing.
And your emails don't make sales?
Though they support the sale. I don't physically make a sale myself.
You're not in sales.
I'm not in sales, you could say.
So you're in an auxiliary support position to the sales process.
If that's what you want to call it. That's what we'll go with.
I talk to the customers so the people don't have to, so the engineers don't have to. Okay, so
I'm a people person.
You're a people person. Okay, so and then what's the last like 24 months? You wanted to get into entrepreneurship, and you obviously saw how successful I am. And
well, I learned not what to do in life, and so when I looked at you and I said, okay, great, let's do the absolute opposite first and foremost. Yeah, so what I did is I just started my own podcast. I think one of the biggest things for me personally is just looking.
Yeah, slow down. I told you, we got people in
Kentucky,
at Alabama
who hate what they do every single day for the work that they do in their career. So that's how I felt personally in the last position that I was in the last company I was at. So I developed a podcast called the Take Back Your Career Podcast, which is really all about helping people find happiness, fulfillment, and financial security in the work that they do.
So you tell people that are stuck in a job, get back a career.
Yes. So a lot of people are going to show up and, they wake up, it's Monday morning, they hate what they do, they regret their decisions, they want to skip forward to Friday already. They want to lose 5 days of their life, every single week of their life for 10, 20, 30 years, unfortunately. So I wanted to help people not be in that situation, to feel alive, to enjoy the work that they do, and find a career path that, again, makes them feel like it's worth their effort and worth being alive for.
So what's the difference between a job and a career?
Well, to me, I think a job is just something you show up to. It's something maybe you don't like. You just, pays the bills. It probably makes you miserable. There's no real long-term plan behind it. Whereas a career is, hey, here's something that I enjoy. Here's something that I want to do. Here's something that benefits society in whatever way. Here's something that really makes me want to work and contribute. And I'm in control of that, right? So I'm in charge of what I do for work and how it gets me to where I want to go in life.
Were you that person a few years ago that was stuck between a job and a career?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't think I had much of a career. I thought I was doing things right. When I got out of college and joined a big company, I like to say my boss left 9 months in. I was thrown in the deep end, and I ran an entire marketing department of team of one for a large retail chain.
Do you think that it started off as a career, or do you think you were bamboozled into thinking you had a career? No right or wrong answer. I'm not making any points. I'm just curious.
No,
because everybody gets started. It was your first big boy job. Well,
yeah.
like kind of second or third, but really it's your first corporate America job.
Right.
And I worked at Little Caesars for 3 or 4 years. I was like, yo, I'm not doing this long term. I was going to the corporate office. I was doing trainings. I was becoming a training manager. I was going to start working at the Fox building. I just was like, yo, dude, I'm not doing any of this. So I wanted to, start my own business. What was the easiest thing I could do? What did I do when I was a kid? I started cutting grass.
Right.
So I said, hey, look, I can cut grass like I did as a kid, just like I can do as an adult, right? I figured I'd need some bigger equipment, some billing, some this and that. My next 10 years was not very illustrious, but I was self-employed. I didn't have a paycheck from anywhere else for a decade, right? So I was happy with that. So when you get started at Carhartt, which is a good company, what were you excited about that? You did it. You're chuckling a little bit here. That's kind of why you don't work there anymore. But what was your thought getting into this job and this career?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, it depends on what your perspective is and where you're coming from. But I think that when I went to school and then, I'm told to let's go get that big kid job and find a company that everybody likes. And, it's a large company. They're doing well. Okay. Get in that company and then don't leave. Right. So that's what I did. I got into a big company and I spent a lot of time there. And I thought in the beginning, hey, I'm doing everything right. My boss left, like I said, I was promoted 2 or 3 times within 2-3 years.
Making good money.
Yeah, absolutely. I was running the show from a marketing perspective, and I thought I kind of.
What did you do at Carhartt?
I did basically everything. Yeah. So no, seriously. I mean, when it came to marketing, I did all of the budgeting, promotional calendars, working with internal vendors, external vendors. I mean, working with all of our stores. I mean, everything, all of the marketing, everything marketing related fell onto me. And yeah, there was other teams and people inside the company, but not on the team I was on. So it was me working with everybody else, trying to convey, here's what I'm trying to accomplish. Here's what our retail chain is trying to accomplish. Here's how I need your help. So again, I learned a lot about marketing very quickly. I had to. And at that point I said, this is it. Like, name a kid at my age doing what I'm doing, gaining this much experience. It's not out there. I mean, in the corporate world, in my opinion.
Right.
And then eventually kind of, I don't know, it fizzled out after a few years to where I was like, all right, what's next? Like, how do I get to the next stage? I started looking around and thinking.
How old were you at this time, by the way?
Probably 25, 26.
So you were already kind of not burned out, but just exhausted, bored, like kind of like quicksand. You're just like, you're trying to make all this headway. Nobody else really cares. Nobody else is passionate. The goal for a lot of folks in life is to get that safe, secure job, right? We read this in Robert Kiyosaki books, which Adam's been a student of success for. When did you really pick up a self-help book? How long ago? Maybe
2 years.
So 2 to 3 years, you've been trying to study entrepreneurship, learn all this stuff. I've been feeding you this crap for a decade, but sometimes you're listening, sometimes you're not. There was 2 parallel paths, right? Like you're going safe, secure job. Well, first off, you did okay in school. You go to college. You get that first good job, second good job, then like your first real big boy corporate America job, Carhartt. And you're doing well. You're making more money than me for sure. That first 10 years where I'm in the like the desert, right? So my lifestyle was not behind yours or anything like that. It just I didn't have any headwind, you know. So because I'm figuring this thing out. So 4 or 5 years ago, I have this whole like catalyst. My life starts to change a little bit. My business starts to blossom a little bit more. I start figuring crap out, you know. Just I wouldn't say I have it figured out, but I start figuring more of my own life out.
Right.
And at the same point, you're like, I'm just starting to like come out of the gate, and then I don't want to say plateau, but you're like, what would you describe? You're frustrated.
No, that's a good word. I felt like I plateaued because unfortunately I felt like
glass ceiling.
Well, yeah, because 2, 3, 4 years in at this point, you're saying, okay, what's next? How do I get to the next step in my career, in my life? How do I go from where I am to where I want to go? And unfortunately, one of the biggest things I learned in my life and in my young, professional career thus far is that most people don't have the answers to figure out how they get to where they want to go in life. And here I was thinking, the managers around me, the colleagues around me, the VPs, the directors, whoever, how are they going to get me to where I want to go?
Right.
I don't even know if they understand where they want to go and where they're at and where they want to go.
Right.
So I learned a lot. What I did do is I listened to the people around me. I made a transition into another role in the company, kind of a parallel promotion, or I don't know, whatever you want to call it, transition between
lateral there.
Yeah, lateral. And I found myself in a completely different field from marketing, which was again my background and kind of what I was passionate about. And unfortunately, I hated what I did. And that was the next 2 years of my life sitting there going, wait a minute, this is supposed to be something I enjoy.
Yeah.
I absolutely hated. I dreaded it. And at first, cool, like I'm learning stuff. Okay, I want to be more well-rounded. So I want to learn different aspects of the business and all the stuff that you kind of, thought would make sense until, in my opinion, it didn't really go anywhere.
Right.
And so I said, well, this is terrible. Like, and that's where the not the regret, but that's where the frustration and the agony, the misery came from. And that's what spurred or inspired the concept of the Take Back Your Career podcast, to help people avoid the frustrations I had, to avoid the situation of, what do I do? How do I progress? Like, just learn from me and learn from the people I have on, so you don't make those same decisions and potentially waste 3, 4, 5, 6 years of your life spinning, your wheels.
Yeah. And so, and now you're excited about working with those younger folks, the 22 to 25-year-olds that plateau early, they get out of school, they make 50, 70, 80, $100,000. Well, not 100, but probably 50 to 80. Let's be real. I have all these college kids that work for me. Like, as soon as I graduate, I'm walking an $80,000 a year job.
You know what?
I'm like, good for you, bud.
But it doesn't, I speak to so many people that are like engineers, right? They come out of college, they're making $100,000 as an engineer, and you just have a conversation with them for 10 seconds. You go, dude, you hate what you do.
Yeah.
You're just an engineer. Like, you got a cool title, you make $100,000, but dude, like, you can just tell by someone's voice, the conversation you're having, are they alive or are they dead inside? And you could just kind of decipher that, and you can just look into them and say, you make that $100K, you're an engineer for a big 3 or something. That's awesome. But dude, you look like you're miserable.
Right.
So enjoy that 100,000.
Yeah. Well, and then they also pay you with titles around here in Metro Detroit. I'm the senior vice president. I'm director of operations. I'm a this, and this.
Sure.
And go finance a car, go finance a home on a title. Like, go when you're checking out at Kroger.
Doesn't really matter.
Hey, I'm going to go buy $400 worth of groceries. That'd be $400, sir. Well, you don't understand. I'm an executive vice president of a bank.
VP discount here, or?
Yeah. It's like, you don't understand. I'm an engineer at General Motors. That's great, sir. That'll be $400.
Right.
And so the point is that I'm excited about what you are working on, because you've really come alive the last few years, because you started asking why, you started asking how, you started asking some really interesting questions. And I don't know, optics wise, if you're like looking at your own life career, you're looking at other people, you're just getting older, you're just maturing, obviously, just like I am. I'm 2 years ahead, but we're all figuring life out.
Right.
And by the way, all you guys that are listening in, all the lawn bros, there's not a single podcast where I do with a guest interview where I'm like, hey, dude, how's it going? Like, things are good. It's okay. I'm hanging in there. It's like, dude, I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
Right. They're excited. They're pumped, because you are the captain of your own ship here,
right,
with entrepreneurship. So I'm really excited about you being able to do what you're passionate about. You can personally grow. You can help other people personally grow. You're not a finished product, but you're on this discovery path as well.
Sure.
And I think that's what gets you excited about helping the next person. Hey, I'm just a few steps above you on the ladder, and I can help you, coach you a little bit with your career. And this is a brand that you're excited about developing. So sometimes in corporate America, they call it like an intrapreneur.
Yeah. Right.
So for a lot of us, we're lawntrepreneurs or entrepreneurs in lawn care. So you're excited about this brand that you want to help people go to the next level. Let's take it back to a funny story here. So let's go back to 2005. So the infamous story, because we were talking about this and we got away from it. The infamous story is that you quit, bro, like straight up. And so
I did quit. I will admit I quit. Anybody would quit under the circumstances in which I work. So you would quit too.
You got fired, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I got fired.
So I'm gonna set the stage.
Do you think they retroactively give me unemployment?
No. There's nothing like that with my company.
We don't pay because you didn't pay into it. Let's sham operation the story you want to go with.
You know what I'm saying? Some of the secrets die with the family business. You know what I'm saying? You were getting paid cash money for sure. So you which by the way, you were 18. Okay, because I think you had just graduated high school and you're about to go to Michigan State. So you're like, hey, I need to make some money this summer, man. Like, Subway costs money. Can you believe that, man? They want to charge me for food. I go, yeah, life's a little different once you venture out of the promised land of mom's house and you got to go pay for groceries. So you're like, man, like people require this thing called money, bro. Like, what do I do?
Your version is always so.
This is exactly it. So I'm out there and I'm 20. I'm successful. I'm Donald Trump Jr. And I'm like, you know what? I have money. And I have enough of it where I can pay you. So I said, hey, why don't you work for me? Cut some grass.
Just for the record, when you say I'm successful and I've got enough money, it didn't really matter how much you had. It's not like you were paying out anything significant. So even if you made $1, you still had enough money to hire me.
Right.
Because you weren't really
Yeah, I had low overhead.
Extremely low overhead.
I was very efficient with my business.
I can't fault you for it, but now that I look back, I can at least hopefully help other people.
Well, that's how I was able
to dodge the situation.
That's how I was able to pay your exorbitant wages. So when you were struggling, you were like a little pauper kid. You have your little hat in your hand, and just in shambles, in clothes. They look tattered, like something like.
I'm pretty sure I wore your shirt though, like a Brian's Lawn Maintenance shirt for work every single day. So just careful.
Yeah. So you were representing the company. So I hired you. I said I tried to throw you a lifeline. I said, hey, you're never gonna get a girlfriend looking like this. You're driving around in this Dodge Durango that uses more fuel than the space shuttle on takeoff. Okay, I've told this story here that thing, the fuel gauge was busted. You remember that?
Well, eventually, I mean, it worked fine for the first few years. Eventually, it did. I remember finding out because I ran out of gas up at Michigan State. I want to say it was my senior year, and I was driving like a quarter mile away from our apartment, and then the car just turned off essentially, and I was like, well, that's not good. And it's like you have half a tank of gas, and I was like, well, this is interesting. Yeah. So yeah, I learned the hard way that.
And it was a Dodge or a Chrysler. So like the engineering behind it is that to get the measuring device that's inside it that measures the fuel tank capacity or whatever level, it was like $800.
Yeah.
Now back then, $800 for our family. Well, that dude, like we didn't have that.
I don't think we made $800
that year
over the course of my life by then, let alone have it all in one spot.
So there's people out there that listen to the show, Adam. They're like, oh, like you don't know what it's like to struggle, or you always had this equipment, or now we get some free equipment, as you know. And I'm like, listen, dude, my first 10, almost 12 years sucked.
Right.
I mean, I didn't have a new thing. We never had a new thing. At what age did you go to 12 Oaks Mall? What did you know the 12 Oaks Mall existed? And what age did you finally go for the first time?
I couldn't even answer that question. I don't even know. I don't even think I went there until I was probably in high school. I didn't even know it existed.
I think I was 20 years old. Because you would have been 17 or 18.
Yeah.
So I said I was 20 years old.
I think the first time I went there is when I got a job there.
Oh yeah, you worked at Sbarro's.
It's a whole nother story.
Oh dude, I forgot about that.
It's a whole nother story.
You worked at the mall. That's how you know you're broke. When you work at the mall.
The pizza, the mall pizza place.
Sbarro's.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Emily paid us some pizza.
Or Michelle, I got you a job because a friend of mine, she was a grade above me, Michelle.
Yeah. She was a store assistant or store manager. I don't remember which.
She was a store assistant manager because Scott was the store manager.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, that's right.
Isn't it crazy? I can remember a name from 16 years ago.
I'm over here. I worked there. I'm like, I don't remember any of the people.
I got a thing for memories. So you were working there, and I would walk in there. I get like my family deal, free slice of pizza, and then go to like Abercrombie and Fitch and realize like a polo was $49.95, and I'm like, you're on drugs. I'm like, I got Meyer over here, bro. Like, I get 4 shirts for $10. So you work in the mall, and by the way, if you're working in the mall and you're just hustling to like make extra money, relax. Like I'm just having some fun here. But we were broke. Like we were broke as hell. Like mom was working basically 3 jobs when you really added it up. Three boys, 15 to 22 with Doug, my older brother. We had no money. No resources, no nothing. This Dodge Durango probably had, I don't know, 50 to 100,000 miles on it when we bought it. Who knows?
Right.
We didn't, I couldn't even tell you how many miles on it because we didn't even care. It was just the fact that you got finance for it.
I didn't even know at the time, yeah, you know what the mileage are, but it's not even, it doesn't register in your brain because it's just such a different, like, you don't understand how important it is to, look at the mileage on a car. You just want a car, right? Especially This was my senior year of high school, I think it was when I got it.
We didn't get cars till our senior years in high school. Other people get them in their sophomore year, like they turn 14 or 15 around here. Hey, we're going to get you a $40,000 Jeep, and and I want you to learn on that car.
Right.
I think it's going to be your car.
I think we took the bus until junior year, and then I think you drove
my
1 year. Yeah, right, exactly. You drove us and some friends at the time, and I didn't get my first car till then. So yeah, I remember though, quick story. I remember seeing Fast and the Furious. It came out around that time, and so I said to myself, "No, this is good." I said to myself, "I want something cool like Paul Walker has, right? Some sort of like Mitsubishi Eclipse." And then I remember having like vivid dreams where you're like, "Oh, I'm in a Mitsubishi Eclipse, like doing the drag race thing," and then you wake up and you're like, shoot, this sucks. Like I'm back home. Great. So I remember saying to mom, I was like trying to get my first car. Right. And I was like, I want something cool. And she's like, so, a day goes by or whatever. And she comes back. She's like, here's a, what was it? Like a Saturn L300. And I was like, what the hell is that thing? I'm not getting that. And so I just quick story that happened. And then we ended up getting the Durango. She went back to, I don't know, the dealership, bank, whatever, and got that for, I think, a comparable price. I think it was comparable.
10 G's maybe.
I couldn't even tell you anymore.
I know we went out and about for my Hyundai, and I had a Hyundai Elantra GLS, and I
that's how you know you're high classy. My car says Durango. It didn't have all the like little numbers.
No
numbers.
You had the SXT.
That doesn't count.
Well, you had the big engine.
Count. You drive a nice rich car when it's got letters and numbers, and it's like all these Lexus whatevers. I don't even know what they are because I don't know the numbers and letters.
LS460, GS350,
the Elantra. What was it?
The GLS, which means it was a glorified luxury sedan, which was cloned for cloth seats, two-tone white rust, plastic rims that I had to spray paint once a year because they would just deteriorate. And
you did get new rims for it though.
Yeah, I took my graduation money and I bought some black because it was Fast and Furious, bro. And like
it's around that time,
that whole movie basically I think sucked out $10 billion in graduation money out of the economy that 24 months because every homie that was poor white trash like us, what did we do? We bought neon lights, speakers and subwoofers, in-dash Alpine radios, neon lights. We were jamming out, dude. I mean, Tokyo Drift had nothing on us. And you had speakers and subs, right?
Yep.
You had some MTX.
Two 13-inch subs in the back. And which is funny because in the Durango, it's like a hole, right? There's no third row.
It's a cabin.
So it's a cabin, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, you put the two 13-inch subs back there.
Oh my God.
And it would it echo throughout the entire
It was
car.
insane.
It was the dumbest thing I've ever done. Maybe not the dumbest. A very stupid investment.
Yeah.
But I swear you could still hear it from a mile away.
And in my little Hyundai, I had I had two kicker 12-inch somethings with the infinity amp and blah blah blah. I worked at Circuit City, so I got a good deal. I don't think maybe I hooked you up back in the day. Who knows? But the funny thing is, I had it in my Hyundai, so the trunk rattle.
Yeah, and you had that like
metal,
like it's like a half an inch thick, but it's like
the Dynomat
space material where it like absorbs as much of the vibration and sound as possible, but it still didn't do anything.
So when we tell you on the podcast, like you see Fullerton rocking around in like a Model X, okay, I've paid my dues. I've paid my dues. I've came from white trash. We came from zero. We came from -5. Like you were the first. Well, Doug went to college for about a couple years with a architecture major. There was like some issues with funding. He was getting a ride because he's actually legally blind. My older brother. So that was tough. So he came back, and then I wasn't going to college because I thought college was what Doug was doing.
Yeah, well, that's probably a whole other story for another time. But that is the biggest. I guess when you look at where you were and where I was, we took two totally different paths. And I said this to you before. We've taken two totally different paths, but I see it kind of going, out and around and then coming back together in the middle where we're on the same path or trajectory. We're doing it different ways and whatnot. And again, I think you know this, but I'm starting my own branding agency and all this stuff because I'm taking the world of entrepreneurship,
You're my Ty Lopez over here.
Ty Lopez, what about him?
I don't know. Are you doing like an ad agency or you're just branding?
Yeah, it'll be a branding agency.
And you're doing really good work too. I'm really excited to see where you're going with it.
Well, something you said earlier was like when you grew up, like what did you do as a kid? You did lawns, right? So it was natural for you to get into the as an entrepreneur into the lawn care business.
Right.
Myself, and for me, I'm in 7-8 years now of marketing and branding. Okay, let's turn that into something that I actually want to do from an entrepreneurial standpoint. But anyway, so back to my thing. We're kind of on the same path, but it started where you said, I'm not going to college for whatever reasons. I don't even know at the time. I don't remember. But you said, I'm going left. I said, society says go right, dude.
Sure.
Go to college. You're making the worst decision. And again, in retrospect, I'm saying that I probably didn't think about any of that at the time.
We didn't know. We didn't know. We had anybody.
We had no clue.
Nobody in our family had never went to college or went to college.
But everybody said go to college at that time.
Because our whole family that didn't go to college thought the ticket was college.
Yes.
Right.
To
So-
success. Yes.
So
for sure.
Hang out there for a quick second on this thought, because I talk to guys all day on the lawnmowers, right? And we're lawn care landscapers, and these guys all own their own business, or quickly are about to start their own landscaping company. And I got a lot of guys that listen in, or they do coaching calls, and like, hey, dude, I make 80 grand at my job, just like exactly what you're talking about. I'm burned out. I'm done with this thing. I'm 30. I have no freedom. Like, I have no freedom.
Sure.
I can't call my own shots. I don't have any financial independence here. But for us, we thought that the secret was college. We were taught that the secret is college. Would you still agree that is true, or is that not true?
Oh, for sure. I mean, not only then, but it is now more than ever. They're telling people to go to college, and it's the key to success. Like I said, you have to go. You should go, and if you don't go, you're making a terrible decision.
Okay, so you've probably very infrequently listened to my show, if maybe the first couple episodes.
Keeps going to my spam filters for.
Yeah, no, I get it.
some reason.
Same as everybody else. Amen. So mine too. But I said on the podcast before, you just said that thought independently, but I've said on our podcast, it's not around here. You're not even talked to, hey, are you going to go to college? It's which college are you going to go to, and which big three are you going to work at?
Absolutely.
Like, that's context.
Yeah.
And if you're like, hey, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, what do they say?
You're out of your mind. It's not, you don't even say it. Like, the average person isn't even having that conversation, at least around here, right? At least people in my circle. Nobody had that conversation. It was, how smart are you, and which college are you going to? Especially, I remember because I was not going to go to college my first year. And then I actually followed one of my best friend at the time to a private university. Worst decision of my life.
Where'd you go?
Northwood University.
For how long?
For 1 year. And I think about 1 weekend, I said, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done. Like, not dumbest. Again, at the time I didn't know what I was doing, but I hated it.
Yeah.
And that 1 year cost me basically 3 years at MSU. So do the math. It's a terrible decision.
And between $20,000 and $50,000.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. And not making $20,000 to $50,000 with a job.
No, you just, again, start minus $50,000, right? And you're not even graduated college yet. That was just to start my first year, finish the first year, and then transfer, lose credits, right, to a major university. And now I'm basically starting behind again.
There's plenty more to come on Brian's special 200th episode. Hi, I'm Mr. Producer, and before we hear from Cujo, today's show sponsor, I just want to share our appreciation to all of the advertisers and partners that have helped us along the way, like IsoTunes, Ballard Products, Xmark, Equipment Defender, SiteOne, Mike Bedell over at Debt Free Landscaper, Proven Locks, Route 1 Industries, Jobber, Cartmate, Mulchmate, Fuel Cred, Steel, GIE Plus Expo, and no doubt I've left somebody off the list. Hey, that's on me. But as you can see, it really does take a team to bring you 200 quality shows. Although, come to think of it, episode 51, still disturbing just on so many levels. If you'd like to support what Brian is doing for the community and get your product in front of the decision makers, reach out to us right here at Fullerton Unfiltered. You're a lawntrepreneur. You're smart about investing in equipment to grow your business, to be more efficient, go the distance, and take more on. But if you're not investing in yourself, it affects how hard you can work, how long you can work, how fast you can work. You want efficiency. It's time to trash those grass-stained athletic shoes that fail on slopes and in the dew. You want to go the distance. Forget about the overkill boots that weren't built for the yard. You don't have to choose between lightweight comfort or water-resistant traction because Cujo Yardwear was built for you. From heel to toe, Cujo selected the best quality materials to optimize the performance and satisfaction of lawn care professionals. While you focus on laying killer stripes, Cujo will be there every step of the way. Check them out at Cujo.com, Kujo.com.
Lawns, lessons, and life. This is the Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast. Now, your host, Brian Fullerton.
See, and that's the thing about somebody dealing with somebody that has experience and somebody that has an opinion, right? The reality is that nobody's going to argue against me right now about entrepreneurship. Not in today's, there's nobody that I know that's going to compete with me on income, on freedom, on time freedom, on choices, on independence, running a lawn and landscape business, my social media company. I'm not the richest guy, but I can control my shots. I can take time off my lawn care business. I could make more money with my either company. Compared to the guy that has a job, I don't care if he's some executive making $150,000, I'll bank that this year. Multiple, like he's not even in the game, but he's the guy that I mow lawns for. And when I get him over to cut his lawn at 4 or 5 o'clock and he's on the back, patio grilling out some burgers, he looks down on me and my people, the people that are listening to the show. They're the ones that think they have it all figured out.
Yeah.
The reality is like they're more confused than anybody.
I would say they're the people that like to flaunt what they have, but are lacking everything.
Okay, hold on. Slow down really quick. Say what you just said again, and then add some context to that.
They're the people that flaunt what they have, but they're missing everything. And by that, I mean, they work all day to buy and I'm sure you've talked about this, to buy the crap to make them look like they're super successful and super happy and living the dream. But inside, in my opinion, most of them are just completely miserable because they have no freedom. They have no choice. They can't do anything I shouldn't say they can't do, most won't do anything. But they're really beholden to wherever they are and wherever they work and whatever the path they're on.
Right.
And they're handcuffed, right? They're golden handcuffs, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Right. And so you guys got to hear what I'm saying. Like two things here. One, I'm trying to help my younger brother just spoon feed him stuff. Just give him some cracker crumbs. I'm not going to make him successful. I can't make him successful. You can't get fit watching somebody else work out. He's going to have to pay dues. He's going to have to figure stuff out. He's going to have to fail. He's going to have to spend money, lose money, make money, spend money, lose money, make money, keep money, invest money, lose money, rinse, repeat until he starts making money, keeping money, growing money. By the way, I'm still learning this stuff too. And so are you guys listening in. We're all students of success. If you guys listen to this podcast, if you're trying to grow, you're trying to succeed, you're trying to make it happen. So you're in the same boat. You don't listen to my podcast, but you're saying the exact same stuff that successful people do. I know successful people do because we both listen and learn from successful people.
Sure.
And all of you guys listening in, I listen to you guys say the same stuff. So success leaves clues, right? And around here, people are not even talking about, it's not even an option. Like with all the Gary V's and all the Grant Cardone content and the Ben Mallas and all these people that are trying to give out success advice around here, it's why are you not working at General Motors making $60,000?
Yeah.
And I'm not putting those people down. Maybe they do want a safe, secure job. In fact, there's a lot of people out there that should be employees.
Yeah.
They're not cut out for entrepreneurship. But I say go all the way back full circle to high school, back with a career counselor, at least present me with both options.
Sure.
And I was never presented the other side of the equation.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think another piece of this too is another lesson, right? Another eye-opening thing that I was told or learned or listened to or whatever it might be was that, hey, when you work for yourself, you're building your dream. And when you work for someone else, you're building theirs.
Sure.
And so I said to myself, I started this path 2 years ago. I can only imagine where I will be in 2 years because I'm going to make it happen. And that's the difference, I think, between what you can do as an entrepreneur, especially as someone who's a go-getter, someone who wants to be successful and says, no one's going to hold me back versus someone who, like you said, just wants to be I don't say a normal person, but just an average Joe who wants to go and get the job and make the 50, 100, 150. It comes down to what you want in life, right? What kind of life do you want to live? I cannot stand when someone else owns my day and my freedom.
Sure.
And that drives me insane. So as a result, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing in the background, because I can't do that for the next 30 years of my life. I'll just go nuts. And so again, I just think it comes down to understanding what it is you want. What are you trying to contribute to society, and what are your goals for yourself, for your family, the people around you, whatever it might be, and let that dictate where you want to go. And I didn't know any of this until I was 30 years old. So
right.
I think that comes with maturity and just learning and perspective as well.
And also, not that you really struggle with this, but humbling an ego to say, I don't have it all figured out.
Absolutely. I think that, I have an extremely big ego. I'm extremely confident but I'm also humble. I like to learn. And you know this, when we go out to dinner or hang out, I don't talk a whole lot. No. I will sit and listen. And that's because I really want to learn because I don't know the answer. Now, if we start talking about something where I'm extremely confident in it I will.
And then I shut up.
I don't think you've shut up since like the 8th grade for the record, but I just, again, thinking, wanting to learn and be that sponge, right? Because the more you listen, the more you learn, and then the more you can implement into your own life, for lack of better terms. So, so I just think, again, it's
observations on my life, external, because these guys they know me from what the content I put out, right? So I can create a highlight reel. I can tell how awesome I am. I try to share my failures, all this mess. I mean, sure. I'm a pretty open book. Like I'm the most transparent person I know with what I make, what I do, what I keep, what I do, what I don't do, what I like to do, what I don't like to do. You guys listen in and know more about me than I know about you. So outside perspective, anything last decade, 15 years. I like what we talked about these two parallel paths. You took your direction, I took mine. I didn't say, hey, that's a bad idea. I just said, all right, dude, like have fun. See you in 10 years. Because I figured you might get frustrated. And you could have you do have a successful career. You could still have a, blossoming career and work corporate America for 30 years and make impacts and do all that. I don't see you doing that long term.
Right.
I give it 5 years and you're probably out doing your own agency and your own, everything you're doing with your marketing company. But outside perspective, the last 5 or 10 years on me, and then I guess even Liz and I, because we've been together now 8 years, I think, Liz and I.
I don't know. Young love.
Yeah.
We've been together. My wife and I have been together. It's way too long there, but we've been together. We just laugh about this because we've been together for 10 years. And so we always look at you guys and go, man, young love.
Oh yeah.
Remember when we were together for 8 years only? Jesus.
And how long have you been married?
Going on 2 years.
So you got a little commitment issue.
Wait, hold on. No, I gave her 7 years to propose, and so I
think that's called a civil union by that.
No, I think women, in this day and age, I'm all for feminism. If people want to, women lead the charge, go for it. I gave you 7 years, and then I said to myself, I'm tired of waiting. I'm sick of waiting, so I'm going to do something about it. And so I proposed.
That was that toxic masculinity that got in there, right? So you were like, I'm gonna own up.
True story. We went to Planet Fitness years ago. At this point, it's like 5 years ago. We went to Planet Fitness together for however long.
Is that a coffee shop or what is that?
It's where people think they go to exercise, but in reality, they just feed you pizza to get you back. It's a brilliant market. It's a brilliant business idea.
Tanning beds, massage chairs, bagels on Mondays.
Absolutely. Get people in to be fit and then fatten them up.
And
that is a brilliant business model.
Yeah, and people don't even care about the dues. Because if
it's $10,
it's $10. They don't care.
Absolutely,
nobody's gonna miss $10.
So my story. I remember us being at Planet Fitness. We've been dating for probably 5 years, let's just say. And I turned to my wife Sarah and I said, "Hey, what would you do if I proposed right now at Planet Fitness?" And she's like, "I'll kill you." I said, "But you really want to get married, don't you?" And so we waited 2 more years.
2 more years.
2 more years.
So you could already be married almost for 8 or 9 or 10 years.
Yeah, I think that it doesn't really matter when you get married because it's called destiny. So if you,
what the hell are you talking about?
Well, let's be honest. It didn't matter if we met each other yesterday or 10 years ago or 10 years from now. It's going to happen, and that's what matters most. It's not how long have you been married. It's just, are you finally together and are you finally happy? And we are. And we figured that out 10 years ago. And you guys figured that, we would say 8 years ago.
Humblest ego I know.
I'm just
I'm serious. I'm sure Sarah's like, we could have 10 years in and be on the longest on the dance floor game, but no, you're like, she had a commitment issue.
We're not going to win that game for a while at least.
So, because we should have got Sarah in here on a third mic. Because then we can get the real truth, the real story. So let's go back to the story about you got fired from my company because
let's correct this.
No, you got fired.
I quit, dude. When you literally walk away from the rig and the person running it, like you were on you probably told this story. You're on the lawnmower, hanging out, going up and down. Like, talk about the easiest job in the world, right? Well, I'm sitting there in a sweatshirt, baking with a weed whacker. What do you guys call it anymore? Trimmer. Thank you. It's been a while.
Well, you only worked for like 2 weeks. I don't expect you to understand all
I didn't pick up the terminology of the industry. So when I physically walk away and say I'm not working anymore,
right,
that's quitting.
No, you got fired. So when listen, here's the reality. How ungrateful of a human being, because you had your little tin cup. You were on the street corner just trying to make ends meet, which I don't know, maybe we'll get Subway. You didn't have any bills or anything, but I said, hey, come with me. I'm Big Brother, right? I'll put my arm around you and I'll put a roof over your head. So you started working for me, and I was paying you $10 an hour. It was cash money.
Show me any sort of documentation that says $10 an hour.
We don't do that.
Exactly.
It was $10 an hour because I'd always.
That would not hold in the court of law whatsoever.
I'll call up Uncle John. Because Uncle John, he got laid off too.
This was 6 years after I worked for you.
That was the next year.
The next year, do you know how much inflation probably went up that year?
That was in 2005, 6. It was probably
double.
No,
probably
no.
double what I made.
No, that was in 07, 08 when Obama started printing money, and then everybody hasn't stopped the printing press ever since. But no, so you were making 10, and you had worked for me for a couple months. In fact, like that Dodge Durango needing gas, because what was the rule of thumb when you took out the Durango? That every time you go out, you have to put $20 in.
Whose rule of thumb was this?
This is the rule you taught me.
I didn't follow that. I couldn't afford that rule. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't make a rule for myself I couldn't afford.
Well, once you quit your job, that's a hard rule to follow. You know what I'm saying? So, so you were working with me, and I said, listen, I'm going to pay you $10 an hour. You're going to work for me, work this trimmer thing, and I'm going to cut this lawns thing, and we're going to go make some money thing. And that was my illustrious start for Brian's Lawn Care, because it wasn't Brian's Lawn Maintenance, right?
That's right.
It was Brian's Lawn Care way back in the day.
I never even noticed. I never knew you changed the name.
You've known me for 25 years now.
A lot of it I try to like block. Block it out. So I don't. When did that happen? When you finally made a real business out of it and not a sham operation?
Well, listen, 07, I think is when I registered my LLC. So that's why my email's Brian's Lawn Maintenance 2007.
Okay.
Because I think that's when I formed an LLC. Because I was a DBA first for like the first 2-3 years because I didn't know the difference.
Sure.
I didn't know there's a DBA and LLC. So I officially got started in 05. So this is 2021. So it's been 16 years. But I went to register my business at the 1200 building, where you do the county building?
Yeah.
And with the county clerk, and Brian's Lawn Care was taken. So I had to register Brian's Lawn Maintenance. Because she goes, lawn care is taken. She goes, what do you do? I go, I maintain people's lawns. And she goes, okay, 1 second. She types in Brian's Lawn Maintenance, and she goes, well, Brian's Lawn Maintenance is available. I said, sure.
Okay.
Like I
never knew.
I didn't know I was picking a name for the rest of my life. It's like having a kid, and you go, oh, what are you gonna name it? Megatron. Okay. And then like at 18, when it graduates, Megatron, come to the stage. Like, I probably should have picked Sarah or Ashley, or Bill, little kid's name. So you were working with me, and then you were trimming grass. You had, you were my kind of foreman, for about 30 seconds. So you were my second in command. And there
was two of us.
There was two.
There was two.
And how
process of elimination.
You're the number 2 man at my company.
Yeah.
I always say. I said that joke once. Some guy said that to me once. I met him, and he gave me a business card, and I said, "What do you do?" He goes, "I'm the number 2 man at my company." I said, "That's pretty sweet, dude." I said, "How many people work at your company?" He goes, well, 2. I literally gave his business card back. I said, no, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty funny joke. So anyway, so you worked, and then one day, this is the illustrious story that you guys hear. I'm not milking it, but I'm just saying this was the illustrious story. What was going on that you could not miss for the world? Go ahead.
It was the World Cup.
The what?
The World Cup.
What sport is that?
That's soccer.
Okay, and when did the World Cup start?
Middle of the summer. I don't even, whatever month.
Yeah, I think you know what time it started. So what time during the day?
Oh, you mean, I was thinking of the World Cup itself. Like the game that was on that day. What did we always joke about? 2:00?
I think it was around 2:00.
Probably 2:00.
Because in Europe, it's probably like 8 or 9 p.m. their time.
Wherever it was, I
don't even know. 6 or 7 hours ahead.
Sure.
So it's definitely Europe or like the Middle East or like
biggest game of the time. It was probably the biggest match of the day, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's why very important. That's why you couldn't miss it.
I was a big soccer fan at the time.
So we grew up playing soccer. A lot of people don't know that we were playing soccer. We played roller hockey.
Yeah, we did. I remember that.
How many years did we play roller hockey?
Well, we probably, I don't know, 5 years. We played roller hockey probably because we couldn't afford anything more than roller hockey, realistically.
I just did a podcast talking about how we were so broke. We bought our own blades. You had some Bowers. I had some Oxygens. But then we had our own gloves, our own sticks, but we had everything else to play against sports.
Yeah, yep, absolutely.
Brighton, Michigan, Grand River Road. There's a Playing Against Sports over there.
Yeah.
It's since moved. But that's where we got all of our hockey gear.
That was like when I remember going there and it was like the best thing ever. You were like, a kid in the candy store. You're like, this is awesome. And then you're like, it's nothing impressive now that you look back. But
dude, yeah, nowadays you can go in there, $400 or $500, all new everything.
Sure.
Did we have $400 or $500 for all new everything?
Nope.
No way. No way did we have any money like that. Nowadays, I want to go in there. I should go donate $5,000 to like just new, like families who can't afford new stuff.
Sure.
And just be like, hey, here's a not a scholarship, but
do you want my email? You can, or do you want Venmo me?
No, I'm not. No, you're crypto king over here. You got your money in crypto. So, but that's the thing. We were so broke. We never. I mean, it was crazy. So we ended up going playing roller hockey because Dustin was into roller hockey.
Yeah.
I went and hung out with Dustin. Somehow I got roped into playing a game. I've never played roller hockey. That's how we got into it, by the way. Do you remember this?
No, I don't know. I don't remember.
I went and hung out with Dustin. They're like, hey, the other team's down. They got let's say four people. They need five.
And they picked you?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. I don't even
take 4 versus 5.
Well, and I ended up really enjoying it. Excelled at it. I really liked playing it.
Sure.
I think I came home like, I'm doing this thing called roller hockey. You're like, what's a roller hockey?
Mom's like, you mean like ice hockey?
Yeah, no, because Jared was into roller hockey, and we would never be able to afford that. I mean, there's no
ice
way.
hockey. Yeah, no.
Ice hockey, yeah. So the year after you started playing roller hockey, or maybe shortly thereafter, you were playing roller hockey with us. We were on.
Yeah.
Were we on the same team or different teams?
I don't remember.
I think we were on different teams because I had to use your gloves and shin guards. And
sweaty. Give them to you really quick while they're still sweaty.
Do it straight up. Like that's how like people don't understand. Like they see like the Tesla. I'm going to build this baller home, and we have a nice truck, and a couple bucks for a name. But like guys, you got to listen. Like I can't describe it any other way to say like we were broke, dude, as a young family. Like we had as a single mom and 3 kids. Like when we were playing roller hockey, we would trade out shin guards, gloves, helmets, and you had a blue stick, I had a red stick. But when your game got done, I had to take your gear. Right,
yeah.
Like we were literally switching out in the car in the Plymouth Voyager.
Yeah.
Or if I would go first, you would play, and you'd have to use all my gear.
Yeah. I want to derail this. So I want to tell another quick story and then I go back to kind of the World Cup, the whole point of this podcast.
We got to tell the story.
But
49 minutes later.
Yeah. I think growing up, one of the most vivid memories I have was the fact that mom worked 100 freaking hours a week. Right. And every single day she would come home and she would call and she would say, what do you want for dinner?
Yeah.
And she would pick up fast food.
And
I remember having Wendy's chicken nuggets, and they're still good to this day. But I remember having them every single day, probably 5 or 6 days a week, because mom had no option.
Right.
She was working, and the last thing she was going to want to do is come home at 10 p.m. and cook. Yep. And so when you look at when you talk about what we had, it was a mom that was dedicated to supporting her family any way she could. And unfortunately, the drawback of that was that she wasn't there to help. Not that she didn't want to or try to, she couldn't provide us any other information or other assistance or anything, right? It was, here's food to stay alive. And that was the best she could do at the time. So again, -5 starting point, right?
Yeah. And she did the best she could with what she knew.
Absolutely. 100%.
And all she knew was work hard.
Just keep working hard.
And there's guys listening to the podcast that say, smart work times hard work. If you're a 10, if you're a 10 at hard work and a 0 at being smart in life, you can. I know there's tons of people that work at 80 hours a week for 50 years and they're not wealthy. Yeah. If that's true, then every ditch digger would be a millionaire.
Sure.
Right. So you got to have hard work and smart work, and that means a lot. I mean, you could do a whole nother podcast on that. We've talked about that on our podcast. But she was operating under the thought process that she knew, and you can't slate somebody who's 50 and 60 working 80 hours, 100 hours a week.
Sure.
That why didn't you pick up Think and Grow Rich?
Right.
Like she's trying to keep 3 kids alive and not let each other kill each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And this goes back to, the why I started the podcast. I started is because there are people in that situation with their job and their career, and it's just not sustainable. It's just not sustainable, and you'll never, accomplish the kind of dreams that you have in life, unfortunately. So anyway, that was another quick story. Back to World Cup if you want to.
So I heard a guy say once, it's not what you know that's going to kill you. It's what you know that you believe to be true that's actually based on lies, false information, and untruth that you are operating around thinking that that's true. That's what will hurt you in life.
Sure.
So not only do you have to be a learner in life, you need to be as equally good as being an unlearner.
That's 100%.
And then a relearner.
Yeah.
How many people at your age at 30, 32 are interested in relearning life?
None. Very, very, very few. Until they get to that. I mean, there's plenty of people out there. It's just a matter of, right? Then the next step isn't learning what to do next. It's also doing it, right? That's 100%. A whole nother level of how much commitment and effort and energy you have to put into it. Because you might say, okay, I'm doing things wrong and they're not getting me to where I want to go. But are you going to make the sacrifice or make the investment to take a step back, 1 step back, 2 steps back, 3 steps back for 10 steps forward? That's a whole nother conversation because that's a lot lot to do, especially in the career world when you got, hey, you're 32, 33, now you got kids, now you got a mortgage, now you got that Lexus that you can show off to your friends, right? So that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, and very few people are willing to abandon that and restart. Because who wants to go from $100,000 a year and tons of obligations? Which I get it. I mean, I don't know if I would. I mean, let's be honest. Like, that's tough.
Yeah.
But I tell Liz all the time, you got to be willing to walk away from everything. If not, something will own you.
Yeah.
I told Liz, I said the Tesla, it's cool. I couldn't care less if somebody took it tomorrow. If it got repoed tomorrow, peace out. I said the same thing with we're gonna build a nice property, nice home. I said you got to be willing to set that thing on fire. Literally like Civil War or American Revolution style, and let it be abandoned and literally never ever think about seeing it ever again. Because if not, it's going to own you.
No, that's a good point.
I said you have got to be able to walk away from material things because they're so they're if they own you, they're vices in different regards. Money, power, status, influence, the YouTube channel, like 150,000 subs. I don't let that get to my head. I couldn't care less. I started from day one. I implore everybody listening to, like, don't rest your laurels or your ego on your income or the size of your company. Like, it could all go away tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's not your identity.
Especially if you're just miserable, right? It's all for naught at that point. Like, you can have. Again, I've talked to people that know people. It's just, there's people that got $1 million in the bank and they're miserable. So it's just, that's not the solution ultimately.
Right. All right. So let's go back to the fun story. So it's FIFA Cup. It's FIFA Cup. It's World Cup.
World Cup only happens every 4 years. Major tournament.
So, dude, you were like 20. You were broke as a joke.
I like how every time you tell the story,
or 18. I'm sorry. I'm
6 years older.
Relax. I was 20. Relax. I was 20. You were like 17 or 18. You're broke as a joke. I'm broke as a joke. I'm trying to figure this thing out. And we were still cutting quite a few lawns back then. On the weekend, we would cut 10, 12, 15 lawns. Sure. In the trailer park. So I would make $300, $400 in 3-4 hours.
Remember that number.
And paid you an incredible wage.
Remember how much you made in a day.
Yeah, I know.
And how much you paid out.
Yeah, well, I didn't see you doing end of month billing either, or sharpening lawnmower blades. I didn't see you sharpen lawnmower blades at 10 o'clock at night in mom's shed either. You know what I'm saying? Some of the guys listening here are like, get him, So anyway, long story short, I'll tell the story and then you tell the story, okay? Because my perspective is, I said, hey, we got like 4 or 5 more lawns to do or whatever it was. I said, let's get rocking and rolling. And you go, dude, I'm done. Like, I'm out. I'm done for the day. And I said, what do you mean? I said, you can't. What do you mean you're done for the day? You're like, I'm done. Like, I'm not working anymore. It's 2 o'clock. I'm done. And I'm like bewildered. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, we got 5 more lawns to do. You're not done until I say you're done. And you're like, yeah, well, I got this thing at 2 o'clock. I'm Audi 5000. And I was like, what are you talking about? You're like, so the FIFA Cup is on. I go, okay. And you go, and there's an important match between, Uruguay and Denmark or whoever, these clubs. And I'm out of here. I'm going inside to watch TV. This is your problem. This is your business. This is your problem. And I said, what? And you go, yeah, I'm going. And you literally were peace out. You put the trimmer on my little piece of crap trimmer racks that I had from Lowe's back in the day. You were peace out, Cub Scout. You're walking inside. I go, where you going? You're like, I'm going inside to watch soccer. I go, you can't do that. You go, oh, fine. I quit. I don't work here anymore. I said, well, you can't quit. I'm firing you. And then you go, you can't fire me. I quit. And I said, you can't quit. I'm telling mom.
That's about the first part of the whole story that I completely agree with, is that it eventually got escalated to HR, which was mom.
I'm 20 years old. I'm telling mom.
And then she had to intervene. Oh. Yep, I did remember that part.
So the rest of it I all made up?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's made up as much as I think you're missing some
so fill
perspective.
Us in. Here's your chance to clear the air. Let's go.
So yeah, the World Cup big tournament happens every 4 years.
We covered that. Get back to the part.
So I remember working for you, and it's the middle of summer. It's 90 degrees probably, 100 degrees probably. Oh my God. I got Brian's lawn maintenance on or Brian's lawn care on my shirt. You had to wear this shirt, otherwise it was.
It's called a uniform, bro.
A uniform, exactly.
You don't have one at the general place that sells recreation vehicles where you work?
No.
You don't have a name on a shirt?
No.
You don't wear their shirt?
Times have changed.
Do you have a badge?
No.
You don't even have a badge to check in?
I do have one to get into security, through the door.
So you got something.
Times have changed. You have to really update kind of your understanding of where business is in this day and age.
Well, you know why I have my name on my shirt, right? Because like if like my employees as well, so like if they wander off at lunchtime, they know where they work. They can come make their way back.
Yeah, it's for that. It's for them, not everybody around them to see it.
That way, if they get lost like a sim downtown Wixom at Sibley Square,
just look down.
If they're wandering around, somebody goes, I don't know what to do. Like, well, where do you work? Right on maintenance. Okay, well here, come back this way. I think this is where you go.
There's the number on the back. Call if lost or call if found.
Have you found me?
Yeah. So back to the story.
We don't have hiring great people on the back of our trailer. It's like if we're not working, call this number. That's Rob out there.
That's lost profitability right there.
Yeah.
So it was like 2:00. It's probably 95 degrees out, and it's you're just baking. And I have this giant sweater on. I've got jeans on. I remember being paid way less than $10.
What did you get paid?
Probably like at that time.
Yeah.
$3.50 an hour.
So you think I paid you?
No. Okay.
$3.50. First off,
you probably paid about $7 or $8.
Okay, so you know how I already know you're lying because I hate money. I don't touch money.
Oh God,
I don't like touching money.
Oh, I know.
When's the last time you see
I remember putting newspaper in your bedroom.
Yeah, I don't do paper. This is a really weird one. We're going down a rabbit hole here. Brian's on Maintenance Exposed. I don't do paper. I don't like paper. I don't like paper.
It's such a weird thing.
Your mom might beat my ass once with a roll of newspaper. I just somehow I don't do paper. I don't do paper towel. I don't do napkins, right?
That's because those are trash.
Yeah, I do paper towel, but I don't do napkins. Yep. I don't do like paper, like 8.5 by 11 paper. I don't do newspaper. If somebody was like to hand me a brochure or a pamphlet, I don't do that. I'll do a high gloss laminate, like a catalog, but I don't do 8.5 by 11 paper. So I don't know where we get on this story just now.
Well, so you're thinking because you don't like touching paper that somehow you were going to round me up to the nearest 10.
That's a fact.
That's
a fact.
Prove it.
I don't do change. I don't do coins. Coins are dirty. I'm not a germaphobe. I'm not a hypochondriac. But I don't do coins. I don't do $7. If somebody gives me change of like $11, I'm like, just keep the 1, give me the 10, and then just like put it in a Ziploc bag.
All right.
So I know I didn't pay you. So I would have never, ever.
Well, I think the burden of proof is on you. You said you paid me 10. I remember like 6 or 7, maybe 8 at the most. You know what? I'll give you $8. That's fine. But
this isn't name your price lawn care. I paid you 10.
Dude, I didn't. Well,
let me see your tax return.
I didn't.
Let me see your tax.
Let me see your tax return for those years.
I don't have a tax return for those years.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We were hustling just like a lot of you guys listening in.
So you paid me $8. We'll say
First few years were a little sketch.
I was in 95-degree weather, sweating, doing all the actual hard work of the operation while you sat on the mower, just going back and forth, loving life, right? And you have what I would consider to be slave labor going on for $8 an hour. And I was fed up. I was done with it. I said, this is ridiculous. You made how much money in a day? $300-$400? In a day you paid me $50?
Well, that's gross, obviously.
That's not my problem.
Okay.
My problem is so for the record, I decided to unionize that same day.
Right.
And we went on strike.
And then
at 2:00.
So listen, right now, I'm on U.S.
I adjusted for inflation. Yeah, I already adjusted for inflation. You over the phone, you're trying to do a calculator for inflation.
I'm on U.S.
It's going to say $32 an hour.
I'm on usinflationcalculator.com. Okay, so I'm naming my source. The burden of proof is on you. So you had just admitted on documentation on an audio podcast circa 2021. If in 2005 I purchased an item for $8, guess how much that item would be in today's money?
In today's money? I'm going to say, it doesn't matter. Tell me.
$26.98. So you were getting paid $27 an hour.
There's not a chance.
$27.
Like I said, I had adjusted for inflation.
No.
You know what? No, I remember I was being paid
That's
little.
That's our show, everybody.
I said, this is the most ridiculous thing in the world for how much physical labor I'm being put through.
Yeah.
So no, I said I quit. And so I remember saying, I want $10 an hour. This is unfair.
Were you fighting for 15 back in 2005?
Like I said the other day,
started the fight for 15.
I started the fight for 15 when I quit your company. I said the working conditions are unfair. He sits on a mower. He's lazy. He's lazy. He sits on a mower. Like this is what's this is what people think about when they look at like capitalism and like corporate America.
Oh yeah,
it's you on the throne while all the peons like myself at the time were out there sweating.
I have one employee
getting rocks thrown at us through the weed whacker, whatever it's called.
never changed a lawnmower blade. You never changed an ounce of oil. You were done at 2:00 pretty much every day. I provided you long
2:00 every day.
I provided you long sleeve shirts so you didn't get bit by bugs or wasps or rocks. I'm thinking about your safety here, PPE. And so you had a air conditioned vehicle. And then back
for like 10 seconds between lawns.
USinflationcalculator.com says you're making $27 an hour in today's money.
That's not true. Okay. You know that's not true. That's ridiculous.
You said I might have even paid you $3.50 an hour back then. In today's money, well, that's actually not really good. It's $4.79. I don't know if it was
Wait. That makes no sense. $3.50 then to $4.79 now would never equal to $8 then to $26 now. It's not a 3-to-1.
I wonder if it's like an exponentialism thing here.
I don't think that's how that works.
Oh, well, no, I must have messed something up because $8 there was $10.94 in today's money.
Oh, so there you go. So you were basically paying me,
but you didn't get that.
But you're paying me, yeah. So
no,
$8
right now,
then,
$13.67 is today's $10. The back then $10 is $14 an hour.
Okay, so you would pay me $14 an hour.
Yeah, it's either that or you can go work at Tim Hortons.
Gotta be kidding me.
But they'll pay you $100 to do an application. So it wasn't $27.
You don't need to work. What are you talking about?
We're gonna redact that. I do need to work. I work every single day. You should try it. You're corporate America. How many paid time off days you get a year?
Right now? We don't need to go with this conversation.
Oh no, we're here. We got a recording.
Yeah, but I would trade all of it. I would trade all of it to take back my 6 years, 7 years in corporate America to do my own thing.
What the heck kind of an answer was that? You didn't even answer my question.
Because it doesn't matter. Because it doesn't matter. It's not. It's like
Adam.
You have a leash, but how long is the leash?
Listen. You're like Kamala Harris over here. We like to have that conversation. Well, let's have it. How many paid time off days you get right now? If you got to think about it,
probably 20.
You get 20 paid time, and then you get weekends off.
Yeah.
What about holidays?
I mean, I get them off from my job, I work all weekend.
What would you say
doing my own thing?
What would you say you do?
I have this belief that you think you're the only person that works around here, which is the funniest thing. You're like, wait, what are you doing? Are you going to come over and record this podcast? No, I'm working. You're like, oh, well, I'm working, so meet me on my schedule. I'm like, okay, and then I leave, and you're late. And you're like, hey, hold on, give me 15 minutes. And then, okay, half an hour.
I was having lunch with Liz. Yeah. She's pregnant. You're gonna
whatever excuse you have to come up with.
You think you're not gonna juxtaposition over my wife who's 7 months pregnant and wants a hot dog. You're gonna lose that battle.
I should have had you just pencil it in.
So you made $14 an hour back in 2005, basically. Like you were.
Yeah, and I wanted 15.
Well, good luck on that crusade.
Which would have been like 10. Which would have been like $10 an hour.
Well, good luck on that.
I saw the margin.
You're just going to interrupt me? You're going to interrupt me? I can mute your mic here. I'll just close out the show here. Adam's not with us anymore. He's went on to a better place. And then next weekend, the Take Back Your Career podcast, Brian's on Maintenance Exposed. Oh,
internet bully.
So you you're now 32, going on 18. You're making over $14 an hour with your good job. What's the next 2 to 5 years for Adam Fullerton? And what's the branding? What are you building? What's everything called?
Yeah, so the branding agency is called Branded Bull, and I think that is where I don't want to get into the passion versus purpose conversation, but that's where my passion comes in, or that's what it is from a business standpoint, from a career and I guess, again, business standpoint, that's what I'm working on right now. So that'll be our own branding agency. I have a business partner in that, another co-founder. So that's what we're going to do. We're launching. We've already taken on a client. And so, yeah, you got to start somewhere. And we're starting small. But it's going to focus on helping small businesses first and foremost. Then we'll grow into work with medium businesses. And just as I reflect on all of the success you've had and the people around you, the people I've met at your Entrepreneurship Academy, and just in everyday conversation, just with some of the career coaches I work with, again, just small business owners. I want to help those types of people get to where they are to where they want to go in terms of building their brand and building their business. Awesome. And I'm going to take my 7, 8, whatever number of years in marketing and advertising and branding and turn around and help people grow their small business. So Awesome. That's what we're going to do. It's called Branded Bull.
All right. So if they want to follow you more, the Take Back Your Career podcast, what are you on Instagram? Adam.Fullerton?
I don't even know. I hardly use it.
Adam.Fullerton, something like that, or MSU45 or something like that. It's I don't even know, but it's MSU14, which is what he was getting paid per hour back in the day in 2005. As hey, you know, what'd be a really fun goal is to go to an actual World Cup game, rent a suite, you know, for $5 or $10 grand. Or probably $50,000.
Yeah, in the stage.
Yeah, but MLS,
Bitcoin.
Yeah, well, you know, I had some of those back in.
Have you ever told that story?
I have told. I did it on FBO too, our second channel. It was a $22 million mistake, depending on the price of Bitcoin. But yeah, your boy here was in the crypto before you even knew how to spell crypto, you know, and. So you know, I don't get really lost on the whole crypto chain or game because been there, done that, and made some good money actually back in the day. So it's all relative now. But all right, this was a fun little episode. This is episode 200 on our podcast.
Congratulations.
So I got this. This is our special. So I figured, what other way to have a special episode than to have a special person in my life?
That's right.
The most special person I know.
To share with your listeners the real truth.
Brian's Law Maintenance Exposed. We pay a living wage over here. Rob makes good money.
Yeah, well, things have changed clearly.
Well, ever since you quit, I realized we need to improve the working conditions.
Yeah.
And
you need to improve the working conditions. So that's what. So I helped you in some weird way.
Yeah, I guess
roundabout way.
My first employee, my first family member employee, my last family member employee. I get a lot of people. Hey, should I hire a family? No. Our whole family is like hired each other.
Yeah, I wouldn't work for family either. If you go with my version of the story.
Yeah, but you did quit at 2:00.
Yep, that's a fact. I'm proud of it. I've never looked back. I've taken that experience and I've used it to fuel everything else I've done in life.
What's that like?
What?
Being the baby in the family, getting away with everything.
I'm not even gonna go down that conversation.
All right, well, we'll button this episode up, guys. It's 200 episodes of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast, which is incredible. We appreciate you guys more than you know listening in. We're actually like trending top 50 in the country.
Nice,
which is insane. I mean, if you think about how many downloads you got to get, and then how many other like sharks are in the water. You got Dave Ramsey, Gary Vee, Barbara Cochran, you know, my friend Paul Jameson, the Green Industry Podcast. He's always in the top 50 to top 100. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's a lot of work.
Well, yes, I can speak firsthand about this. Yeah, it's a lot of work. I mean, it is. I like to say I kind of do three things 24/7, which is my corporate job, you know, building Branded Bull and the branding agency, and then running the podcast. I mean, it's all 24/7 things because they take that much time. But I think, again, if you're listening, I think it's an opportunity to look at you getting to 200, top 50, whatever it might be. There's so many, like you said, sharks in the water. Instead of being scared to jump in, I would say, hey, if people are looking to, you know, like I like to say, take back their career or do something that makes them feel alive and contribute to society, start your own podcast or do something that, who cares how many YouTube channels are out there? Do whatever makes you feel alive and something that you can feel proud of and inspired to do, and just see where it leads.
Who taught you that? Where'd you learn that from?
I think I saw on the billboard once.
All right. Well, marketing motivational guru Adam Fullerton, my younger brother by 2 years. This is a fun episode. This is fun. Just getting to hear the truth of the story and just get to talk a little bit about business, life, success. Guys, we're out there doing the same thing you guys are doing. If you're listening in, like, I love the fact that we don't come from this top-down approach with very, very, very little of our content. You know, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that guy. I'm not a finished product. You know, I'm learning every single day, trying to make more, earn more, impact more, help you guys out. And to us, that's what is the most exciting part, because you get that reciprocity. You hear that you're making an impact. That's the fuel in the fire. It's not to us. It's not about the impact or not the impact. It's not about the clout. It's not about the money or anything like that. It is about the impact. It's about making a difference out there and helping that next young guy listening in, whether you're 20, 30, 40 years old, you're trying to change your life, change your business, change your career. That's what it's all about. So anyway, quick little sign off here for the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast, episode 200 with Adam Fullerton. Thanks for joining us, Adam.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, guys. Well, hey, let's kick it back over to Marty, Mr. Producer, down in the ATL. We will be back here every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday, without fail, with new episodes. Thanks so much for the sponsors along the way for these 200 episodes as well. So make sure you guys, look into supporting them. We really appreciate that. And so thank you to the sponsors for bringing the show to you guys as well, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So let's kick it back over to Marty in the ATL. And guys, we will catch up with you here on the next one.
Law entrepreneurs are smart about making investments in the right equipment to grow their business. Isn't it time to invest in yourself? Your feet have been telling you to ditch the grass-stained athletic shoes that lead to embarrassing mishaps on hills and wet lawns and to chunk those boots made for working in the factory. Thanks to Cujo, you don't have to choose between lightweight comfort or water-resistant traction. Cujo keeps your feet happy with quality materials and construction, optimizing your performance and efficiency. While you focus on laying killer stripes, Cujo will be there every step of the way. And that sound you'll be hearing is your feet singing Hallelujah. Grab a pair today at Cujo.com, Kujo.com.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.
Job.
You had it
It's
in
your
a row.
first time doing this.
I've never done a podcast before.
Yeah. How many episodes are you in?
How many you at?
About 50.
Better hurry up, chump change. All right, we're gonna do a podcast. You ready to do a podcast?
I'm ready.
Don't say anything stupid.
I'm just trying to not. There's no space in this. There's no area. There's
I
no room for me to
understand.
move my arms. So I'm just telling all of your listeners that if I hit the mic 6 times, it's because I literally
You don't have to move. Don't move.
Okay.
They can't see you animated anyway. Just talk with your mouth and your voice. Shouldn't be hard for you to do. You just got to sit there and talk into the microphone and don't flail. There's no reason to move. There's no cameras. Are you nervous?
I'm not nervous.
Then don't move. Then don't.
it's like freeze tag. Just don't move a muscle whatsoever. What's that from? What's Jurassic Park? Remember Jurassic Park where he's like, they get out, he's like, Ian, don't move. That's me right now. I'm just sitting here like, just don't move an inch. I can't even move an inch actually, even if I wanted to. I'd hit something.
So Ian was the guy that got the flare, and then he started running.
Yeah.
Because he said, "Don't move." And what did Ian do?
Turn the light off.
He started running. Yeah. So you got.
I'd run too.
Yeah. Well, is that Ian? Yeah. He got.
Malcolm, Ian?
Yeah.
Malcolm?
Yeah.